What's up guys, Cloudie here, and as promised in the patch notes video, in this one we're gonna be looking at the developer's note for the first quarter of 2021, seeing what all the 킹스레이드 studio has to say to us. Now in the first section they kinda, as usual, express their apologies for not listening enough and for all the issues, and then again they give the usual promises that they will be doing better. So this is something that they pretty much say in every time they do this kind of communication. It's like we are getting used to it, and some people are feeling like they never really deliver on it. I do see some changes, and maybe, and I'm not that hard on them, so to say, but yeah, they pretty much say this every time, so it's nothing new. Now here is the more important part. 킹스레이드 Season 2 Remaster, tentative name, and they will be giving more information on this. So let's get to this, because this is the interesting part. So for the first quarter of the year, they have prepared the events and celebration for the third and fourth anniversary of the game, and then they give the plans for the rest. So on the second quarter of the year, we are planning to do the final chapter, in which we will be closing down the final scenario of 킹스레이드, revealing the final adventures of Castle, and the story which has been going on. So it seems that within the next 3 months we should be seeing chapter 11, I guess, and the closure of the story as it is. That's pretty big. I thought there was still a lot more to go in it, but seems, yeah, the story will be ending here. That's pretty brave. I've never seen a developer actually say this in advance yet. Alright, and they are also in the process of developing new content called the Enchanted Dungeon, tentative name again, where you will be able to farm technomagic gear. There is no details given yet, just that this is something they are working on. Now between the second and third quarter, they will be reviewing and applying the improvements that have been requested by the raiders. So yeah, just like standard improvements, and they want to work on heroes that lack the number of costumes and customization items, and they want to proceed with the balance patches. So yeah, like standard updates. Okay. In addition, they are constantly checking the lag, freeze, crash issues, and they are trying to work on those. So they are constantly working on this. Okay, for the third quarter, they will be revealing some contents of the remastered update, which will be the next story continued and the continuation of 킹스레이드. So the game itself does not end with the story of Castle. They will be adding more stories going forward, so different stories. So yeah, that's good to hear. As their first story, they will be revealing a new world boss, and they will be revealing the new protagonist of the next story. So alright, or new protagonist, that's a plural there, sorry. So yeah, that's good stuff. So third quarter we can see new stuff already coming in. And for the last quarter of this year, the long-awaited 킹스레이드 Season 2 Remastered, tentative name, will be revealed. Now, they say that the name itself has been revealed through some news articles, but they wanted to give more details, I guess, so people aren't discouraged from the game right now. And some key points to what the remaster means. So I will just say this in advance because it's further down the note. They aren't bringing out a new game. It's not like there will be a 킹스레이드 and the 킹스레이드 2. It's 킹스레이드 itself that receives a major overhaul. So that's what they are calling the remastered 킹스레이드. It's just kind of bad choice with the name there, because a lot of people will think that they are just doing like a reset, you know, like giving out a new app and the old one goes away. This is not the case. They do write about that later on. So let's move on. So the heroes you've loved, story world, that's and all art from 킹스레이드 will be born again with the new graphics engine and quality with the unique charms of 킹스레이드. Now, does the graphics engine need an update? I think graphically 킹스레이드 is quite fine. My guess would be that it's more like that they probably can fix a lot of the underlying issues that come with the original client. Maybe this is conjecture from me, but my guess would be that the original team has left and they do not really know how to debug the code anymore. But maybe some of you are like app developers and can comment on that. What's your insight on that? I would be inclined to believe that one of the biggest movements one of the pushing factors for this movement is that they just want to have a new client, which will hopefully be more optimized. So The story of heroes who made great history in our world will come to an end, and the story of new heroes will take place. The contents that required uncomfortable and excessive playtime will be supplemented and modified. Now this is quite weird that they write this the same day when they give us an event arena that makes you play every 50 minutes, but whatever. Furthermore, we are planning for new content such as large-scale siege battles, Air Advanced Base, yes, Air Advanced Base, they have fooled me with that one, and newly designed Tower of Challenge, raid contents, and more to come. And of course, the gear you have collected and heroes you have strengthened through continuous gameplay won't go in vain in the Season 2 Remaster version. In fact, it will be used in greater performance and efficiency. So they do say that nothing will be lost. Yeah, so I think what they will be doing is that they replace the client with a brand new one, but all the data remains, or they are like migrate it and hopefully without any losses. But that's my guess here, really. We will be providing more opportunities to raiders to become stronger, and we'll make sure the process of growth is entertaining as well. Alright, that sounds good. Regarding the issues with the app stability, many raiders are pointing out, so they are still making improvements, and they are apologizing if they couldn't fix anything. Yeah, lagging issues, grand scale. So they say that there will be some grand scale code refactoring, and they will be improving noticeably on the app freezing issues, which is coming due to excess memory usage. So that's something that programmers I have talked to have actually pointed out, that probably the memory leak issues are pretty bad, and it just doesn't free up the memory it uses, and that's why it after a while just hangs. That seems to be in line with what they are saying here. So in this process, we won't be making any changes that could affect the battling style of 킹스레이드 or timing of the control. In other words, we will be making improvements to the game without affecting the originality of the game. Alright, so yeah, they are just trying to fix the underlying issues and code. Alright, good enough. And this is my favorite one. We will be communicating and listening to the suggestions from our users from now on. Well, didn't you promise before that you would be doing that? So, kind of saying that you will be doing it from now on makes you wonder what they have been saying until this time, because they definitely did say this before. So maybe just poor choice of wording there, guys. We will be taking into consideration the changes of our readers are desiring the most, and we will be checking thoroughly before implementing these changes into the game. After thorough testing, we will be adding these to our development schedule. So most of our readers are desiring. I'm not quite sure I agree with the most of sentimentality, because the way I see it is people often just want to win and not necessarily have a good game, be that especially in PvP, but in other things too. So going with what everybody wants isn't necessarily good for the game, and it's not necessarily making it fun. And I still think that it's the developer who should set the direction and then come up with the things, but of course they should make that in a sensible way. And of course, listening to feedback is important, and reacting to feedback is also important, just not necessarily like, oh yeah, well, they do say just that they will take it into consideration more. So who knows, maybe they will actually do some testing before releasing stuff. That would be kind of nice, because often it kind of feels like they did not do any, especially when releasing new stuff. Alright, if we encounter a situation in which the implementation of the changes is difficult, we will make sure to provide you the reasons of why it is difficult to be implemented, and we will be explaining our future plans so misunderstandings are avoided. In this way, we will try to reinforce the communication with our raiders once again. Yeah, that's good, but they did have this kind of communication channel before, and then they shut it off. So, why did you shut it down then? We would have liked to see more of those. But we think that this will be a stepping stone for us to keep the promises we once made to our raiders. For those who are reading this, we know that you have all cared for the game with continuous encouragement and feedback, and we want to repay all the love we have received by making these improvements. We have discussed about ways to maintain the uniqueness of 킹스레이드, and at the same time solve and accept the issues and feedback sent by our raiders. We will be making our best efforts to provide a satisfying live service to raiders who are playing our game. Alright, So this is where they say what I was talking about. We would also like to inform that 킹스레이드 Season 2 Remaster, tentative name, will not be released separately as a new application or as a whole new project. It will be the next large-scale update to the current game of 킹스레이드. To be specific, it will be a whole new upgraded 킹스레이드 itself. So as I said, they will not be doing a new game, they will be updating the old one. I believe they will be scrapping the old client and just coming back up with a brand new one, which will be hopefully better than the current somewhat outdated one. That is my guess. That's what I'm reading out of this. We'll see how it goes. I guess we find out later on this year. We are aware of all the disappointment, curiosities and anticipation you are having towards 킹스레이드, and for that everyone from the 킹스레이드 studio is grateful, and at the same time we would like to send our deepest apologies from the bottom of our hearts. Yeah. Okay. You have never forgotten, and then that's just their promises that they will be doing better and sharing the improvements and fixes and whatnot. Alright, fair enough. I think this is fair enough. Got to admit, I am hyped. Flying bases, guys. I'm still hooked on that one, not gonna lie. The rest, I mean, the story coming to an end. I do like the 킹스레이드 stories, and I think it's pretty cool that we had them so far. So I hope we get to get to have a good ending for Castle's story, and then that the new ones coming will be just as good as we have come to be used to for the second half of the game. I think the early story was a bit too generic, bit too niche, like very anime. Good guys, whatever, but the ending took a pretty interesting turn, and I think it did for the better. So I hope they continue on with this kind of interesting writing, and that they can bring in interesting stuff to the game. And I'm looking forward to all the reveals. I will be here, I will be talking about them, but for now, this has been Cloudie. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.